Have you ever wondered why the clave is so important in salsa music? Perhaps you know what the clave rhythm sounds like, but just how does it affect the music? Well, in this video, we're going to answer that question. So welcome to Salsa Goals, and let's get started. Now remember that there are 3 questions that we as salsa dancers need to answer about the clave. And the first question was, what is the clave? We answered that question in part 1 of this video series, so if you haven't seen that video yet, please check out the link on the top right hand corner of this video and then come back. But if you have seen it, then let's tackle the second question. How does the clave affect salsa music? And after we answer that question, stay tuned for a special bonus at the end of this video. Now remember that the pulse highlights beats 1, 3, 5, and 7. And while the pulse provides a foundation that maintains the stability of the clave is the rhythmic foundation that gives salsa music its characteristic flavor. So one way that the clave affects salsa music is it sets the rhythmic dynamic. The clave rhythm is often played on a pair of wooden sticks known as claves. But the clave rhythm itself is a 5-beat pattern that is played over 2 measures of music. One of those measures will have 3 clave beats. This is known as the 3 side of the clave and is also referred to as the tresillo. The unevenly spaced clave beats on this 3 side are syncopated, which means that they contrast with the evenly spaced strong beats of the metronome-like pulse. However, the following measure of music will have 2 evenly spaced clave beats which line up a little more closely with the pulse. This is known as the 2 side of the clave. Now, the syncopated 3 side of the clave is referred to as the strong side because it creates rhythmic tension with the pulse. And the 2 side of the clave is often referred to as the weak side because it releases or resolves the rhythmic tension created by the syncopated unevenness of the 3 side. This cycle of tension, followed by release, creates a rubber band-like dynamic that gives salsa music its unique rhythmic flow. But although the 2 side is called the weak side, it makes a big impact. In fact, many dancers claim that they can feel the clave more strongly on the 2 side. Why? Well, consider this possibility. Imagine a classroom where some of the students are playing around, and one boy uses a slingshot to shoot a ball of paper at another student. When this boy initially aims the slingshot and starts to pull it back, that creates tension, just like the 3 side of the clave. And when that slingshot is released and the paper is actually shot across the room, that releases the tension, just like the 2 side of the clave. But when does that unfortunate victim actually feel the impact of that ball of paper? During the tension phase or after that ball of paper has actually been released? Well, after it's been released, of course. In the same way, the release of that rhythmic tension on the 2 side of the clave makes a very strong impact, which may explain why some feel the 2 side of the clave so strongly even though it's referred to as the weaker side. Actually, nearly all of the instrumental patterns in salsa music reflect this rhythmic tension and release dynamic of the clave. But remember that the clave is the key to salsa music, so there's another very important way that it affects the music. So be on the lookout for part 3 in this video series because things are about to get very interesting. But before we sign off, here's that special bonus. Increase your musical knowledge. The subject of the clave can get very complicated if you really get into it. But the easiest way to truly understand this is to do your research and listen to salsa music often so that you can hear these rhythms in action. So if you really want a deeper understanding of the clave and its relationship to the music, I highly recommend the Salsa Guidebook for Piano and Ensemble by Rebeca Mauleón. This book is like the foundation of a house for anyone who wants to learn the science of salsa music. So please check out the link for this book in the video description below. And until next time, stay safe, stay connected to the music, and above all, keep dancing salsa.